Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Quest with Reck. I'm here with Aaron Renfroe. Welcome, Aaron, to the show.
Hey, everybody.
We'll give you a couple minutes to hop on, but I'm just going to give us some backstory. Aaron and I met at Jordan Con. So you're one of my Jordan Con pickups. We ended up talking. We were just talking about how we ended up talking till like 2 a.m. one night about books and strategies, and it was just a fantastic night. And then there was also the very memorable smut panel that we both were on.
I loved finding your snails everywhere, and being on a panel with you was the best.
Yeah,
was best.
That was a good panel too. Yeah,
and I loved watching your panels too, because you have a great way of speaking, very clear, very interesting, very non-standard, like creative. I loved it so much.
Well, thank you. Well, welcome. We've got Cal and Jen in the chat, and I know a few more people on the way. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun at Jordan Con. Hey, Corey, good to see you. Let's just talk about Jordan Con for a second. I mean, everybody's focused on LitRPG Con, but I think they're missing kind of the gem that was Jordan Con. Yeah, what was your favorite part of Jordan Con, Aaron?
So Jordan Con was my very first time promoting myself and promoting the brand that I'm part of.
Which is hard to believe, because you were like everywhere. It felt like at Jordan Con.
I'm super on like multiple different spectrums, so it's like either I go 0 or I go 100, and there's there's no in between. So like it was so great, because it was my very first time putting myself out there, trying to sell a book in person, putting myself on any panels whatsoever. Like it was so welcoming, inviting, and the crowds were the perfect size. The audience was great. I was honestly happy to sell a couple books, and then the real surprise was getting to spend time with you guys, like meet other authors, and like
it's all about the LobbyCon, right? I mean, you can have great panels, you can have a booth and be selling books, but it's the after hours, just shit talking in the lobby that's like the best, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there's two things, right? One of the best things in the world is to meet someone who's read your work and it's touched them. And then the other thing is like when we as authors or industry professionals sit down, who else can understand our pain, right? Yeah. Or our joys and our sadness, right? There's a camaraderie that you just can't find anywhere else.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, at least for me, like if there's camaraderie online, like there's innumerable discords that you can join as a LitRPG author, but there's just something about like being in the same place as other people, like literally seeing somebody laugh, or, like talking in person as somebody, you can see like the pain or the joy on their face as they're telling you about their journey.
Well, I think a lot of the mask comes off in person, and online it's so easy to present whatever persona you want. And I'm not going to suggest that people can't be less than genuine in person, but most of us are on some spectrum or the other. It's very difficult for us to be duplicitous, so it's like I'm super unfiltered, and I enjoy like being around people like me, and I found that many of our peers are like that. So it's like, you get to meet them in person, you get to meet the unfiltered real version of them, and you get to see the light in their eyes when they're like, oh my God, like I don't have to be like this is the flesh space, the mun space. We're all
the
together.
Flesh space. I think that flesh space is maybe not something we're going to brand LobbyCon with. I picked up your book at your booth, so we'll talk about the booth here in a little bit, but Father of Constructs, this is the book that we're talking about tonight, and it's fantastic. It's funny because in person we talked a little bit about some of the analytics that go into writing a book these days, and I was like, okay, I'm going to read this book, and I was like, are the analytics going to turn me off? Like, is there a fight scene at like 2.3 chapters in or something, And I honestly, I read the book and it was just like a very heartfelt book is what it felt like. And you did an amazing job with it. And I can't wait to talk to you about the details of it. So,
well thank you.
Yeah.
So the Father of Constructs was, It was when I was super new. Like I started rereading it in preparation for this interview, and I was like, oh my god, I did so many things that I would do differently now, like little errors and things like that. But my debut series was like a low mid tier success, and by the time I was on book 4, and it's a super action adventure, typical by the numbers book. By the time I was at book 4, I was like, I want to write something that's an antidote to this. I want to write something that goes the opposite direction. And I talked to my Discord about it, and I was like, here are my like 4 or 5 ideas. What do you guys think? And several of them were like, do this. And I was like, oh yeah, right. Like, let me do the antidote to the traditional, which was not analytical. It was not logical. It was just super heart, you know?
Which, I mean, this particular story exudes heart. So let's talk a little bit about it. But first, I need to mention, Stephen Landry says that we need to call LobbyCon the Gotcha Flush Space. Take a poke at your favorites.
Oh, we should bring cards of ourselves, and then you should do a gotcha thing where authors collect each other's cards.
There you go. There you go. We could definitely gamify this. That would very much. Yeah. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna be sitting in LobbyCon at LitRPG Con, looking around, thinking, "This is the gotcha flush space." Thanks, Stephen. Thank you. Just something for everyone to lose. That's true. All right. So Father of Constructs, let's give a little bit of background. It's available now, and it's out on audio, and I think there's 5 books out, right? Complete the whole series.
Complete series, 5 books, all done, buttoned up.
And when did you complete the series? Because
you're gonna make me pull it over here.
Dun, dun, dun. Was it this past like year?
I published book 1 in 2023, and it was done a little over a year after that. So it's been about 2 years now that it's been
2 years. Okay.
Been complete, which is forever.
That's pretty quick. Okay. Then it's narrated by Michael Hofer. Hofer and Christian Woods, right? Yeah, and it's a complete series, so you can just go straight through and not have to stop.
And there's the omnibus is out for like $5. You can get all of the books for $5. Just
go do it.
If you're a thrifty shopper, you know, you can do that if you want to.
So is that omnibus like the Audible omnibus? Is that the digital omnibus?
It's just the ebook. Okay. It's just the ebook, but you can get it all in one place, right? And then I don't know if we'll ever omnibus the audio, just because it's in the market. It's less popular to have an omnibus for LitRPG and audio, but
So there's that analytics coming through, you guys. If you've got a question about what if a decision you're about to make is going to make sense financially, like Aaron's going to be my go-to guy on some of this. Yeah,
I could go on some rants, but I will play nice and not rant about numbers.
It's all right. All right, so let me set the scene for the book. We're in a steampunkish world that's running low on magic and is ravaged by this havoc plague. And we have an elderly senile janitor with tuberculosis-like symptoms that kind of indicate that his end is near. He accidentally... I'm giving away a little bit of the first chapter here.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the title, it's in the description, it's in the blurbs. Yeah. Go ahead.
So he has an obsession with trains, and somebody announces that there's like this old train out in the desert, and he's like, my last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go visit this train. They're like, oh, it's too dangerous, and he's like, who cares? I'm dying anyway. And he goes out and he's like looking at this wreckage of this ancient train, and he steps on like a cockroach, like a little beetle. Right. And the beetle just happened to be the remnants of a world boss that had been like compressed into this little insect form. And so he immediately gets like 1 million experience and all sorts of notifications that he can't read anymore because he's illiterate. And it starts him down this journey of what's next. And he ends up getting this class called Father of Constructs, which one of the things I really appreciate about this book is it's not like it's not just like a one-man punch sort of book. He he basically has this engineering class, and he goes about fixing things and automating things, and like, and because he's a janitor, he doesn't mind going to clear out the sewers, or like fix that old nasty mechanical pump, at the bottom of the city sewers. He doesn't care. He's gonna do it, right? And Harvey ends up, getting several friends, having some construct friends, some real life friends, and a bunch of enemies in the world who don't really want the world order to change. Yeah. So, and did I do it justice? Do you have anything you want to add to that, Aaron?
Yeah, I think that I could refine a little bit of that. So the framing of the book is that Harvey is both a child because he was born havoc plagued, and the lore of the world is that with the world boss defeated but not dead, the cycle of magic in the world is stale. And what people have done to create more magic is they have burned magical items from the past. It's kind of like our fossil fuels. And burning that causes the plague, and he was born with it. So he was born, essentially altered. Yeah. And what I wanted to do with
it was unclear to me whether he was born altered or if he just kind of ended up demented. Like, yeah.
There is a little wiggle room there to say that, I think in the canon in book 3 or 4 we say that at 8 or 9 it hit him, so he had a chance to have a childhood before it came on. But it's in the air. The air is toxic with this stuff, and if you're a kid and you're playing around, it's dangerous unless you're rich and can avoid it, basically. So it's a metaphor for smog and pollution, right? It's the exact same thing. And my goal with him was to create both childlike innocence and old man wisdom in one character, right? So it's hopefulness, it's joy, it's somebody who looks at the world that's moved on around them. It's a very like a Stephen King type thing, but looks at all of it through the lens of joy. And that's the entire series is basically him just being like I want to see the best in everything and everyone at all times. And that's the fun for me.
Yeah.
And otherwise you're pretty much spot on, right? The prelude of the book is this adventuring party saying, look, when the world boss spawns, it kills too many people. We need to stop the cycle of violence. And they freeze the world boss into this one hit point bug. And Harvey just happens to be like it, and it tries to lure Harvey in to free it, because if Harvey dies because of it, it will become free. It's a little subtext. And he accidentally kills it because he's just trying to clean up the space. He's like, oh, we don't need any bugs here.
We don't want bugs.
Yeah. It was based on a D&D question. When I was really young, when I was like 13 or 14, I learned about D&D. And one of the rules were you could only ever gain one level at a time. Right? Like a second edition, or maybe I think it was second edition. I was like, well, what if you killed a frog and it was worth 1 million experience? And I was like, well, you can only gain one level. And that entire premise came from when I was like 12.
There you go. I love it. And I actually really loved the kind of childlike innocence that Harvey has in the book, because it does, all these like horrible things are happening to him and his friends, and he's trying to like survive, but he's just like, well, maybe they just misunderstand. I don't want to kill them because maybe they just don't get it yet. I don't know. It's a refreshing storyline where it's just not grimdark and,
I really wanted to invert it, right? So like Harvey, like a standard LitRPG is like the center of the party, that the main character is that like punch you in the face, kill everything, and then you have the supporting characters. I wanted to invert that, where Harvey was the heart of the story, and he's definitely OP by the end of the books. He's definitely OP, right? Like super powerful, but he's not the fighter. He's not the killer. He's not the things that you would see in these books, but he's surrounded by it. So you get that flavor of what it would be like to live in this world as a fighter or whatever. But your heart is always going to be like, where is the joy?
Yeah. There's also this element of his companions who care about him very deeply. I mean, they've really fallen in love with his attitude and outlook on life, and they're like, you're not touching my friend. So you've got these like folks going out and murdering like assassins and stuff for him, and he maybe does or does not have a clue. So
one of my favorite scenes in the book, to your point, is when there's two scenes that are my favorite scenes, and one is when I went with ninjas. I love ninjas. Who doesn't like ninjas? When a group of like essentially ninjas are coming to kill him, and he's in the middle of like teaching someone something or talking about something, and his friend just like crunch, 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 crunch. What was that? I don't know.
Like, what was that sound in the air ducts?
Oh, and it's one of my missions in this series was to protect his innocence, but also like, this is beyond the scope of book one, but in book one, there's a promise that once he reaches level 5, he will be physically renewed.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of needed because he is a frail old man for all of book one.
He is.
Yeah,
he is. So to give you guys a little bit of how it works, I gave him 1 million experience points, but I made it a travelogue. You can only claim a level at these specific locations. So he has to travel to all these locations and get 1 level at a time. Mm-hmm. But he gets to spend his experience points as currency at each of these locations to increase his stats or skills beyond the norm. Mm-hmm. And when he gets his class, he spends extra experience points to max out this already legendary class. So he gets this incredible, like, he's almost unkillable with his regeneration. He's got like a cockroach ability, and he's got skills that are supernatural in nature. So he's got like a mechanical strength skill. So his base strength is like a 10. But if he can apply his mechanical strength, like he's thinking about it, he's using leverage or he's using, any kind of geometry, it upgrades it to the new score. So like situationally, he's Superman, but it's like he has to deliberately use his skills in ways that are not obvious. So that's how the frail old man survives through book one. I don't, and no one sees him as a threat either.
Yeah, which also helps, right? I mean, they're kind of like, he's a simpleton. We're going to take advantage of him. If they're not like straight up trying to kill him, they try to take advantage of him. And yeah.
Right.
But he's got these moments, and then he's like running away on a hobble. Like, I mean, that's, or like you have these moments where he's like, I got to get back to work. My arthritis is acting up. It's a fun take. So
it's a little bit like there's a little bit of old man Logan in there. Like, there's a little bit of old man Logan because like his arthritis flares up, then it gets better and he goes right back to it. Or in the very early in the book, he's building, and when he's building, he doesn't feel any pain, right? Because he's loving
hyper
it, he's
focused and moving, and
right. And then afterwards, he's like, "Oh, my back."
Which, if you know a mechanic or somebody who that's their thing, that's totally what it is. He had this like he's like in there under the car covered in grease doing all the things, like rolls out, stands up, hobbles back to the house for lunch. That's just 100% real life. So all right, well, let's get into some of the questions. Ironically, I haven't asked a question yet really from my list here, but first, Aaron, you're coming to LitRPG Con, correct?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna have a booth. I'm gonna have my assistant. I'm gonna have Arya, our primary narrator for all of Pivot Press. I think one or more of the authors that we're working with will be there as well. We'll be on panels. It'll be a great time.
Yeah, awesome. I'm excited to see you again, and I'm excited. It's cool that you're doing a booth. We've got the indie author booth. How are you, like, super hopeful for sales? Do you have any idea? Did you go to LitRPG Con last year?
I did, okay. But as a regular person,
not as a superhuman author booth panel.
No one. Well, to be honest, last year no one knew me. I had just come out with Apocalypse Breaker with Sean, and no one knew me. And I'll be honest, like, I've never had a big enough hit for people to really know my LitRPG name, right? It's like Aaron Who. My harem pen name everyone knows. At the con, like I wasn't out at that point. At the con, I mentioned my pen name, and like 3 dudes just started shouting, and I was like, no. But it was like, it opened my eyes as to what gets known. But yeah, so last year I was a nobody. I still am a nobody, but I'm a little less of a nobody.
Yeah. Well, that begs a question of how would you like people to approach you at con? Do you want them to call you Aaron? Do you want them to call you by your pen name? Do you care?
Aaron and my pen name are the same. So my real name is on my LitRPG books. I go by Adam Lance for my harem name, but I don't think anyone would call me that. Like, that'd be really weird. I mean, it'd be fine. Hey, you can sometimes work, depending on who's saying it. I get to be super approachable until my ego gets really big, right? I'm going to have my first big hit, and then I'm going to be like, you may refer to me as Lord Ruler. Aaron's good.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So yeah, let's dive into it. We talked about Harvey being unconventional. He's a janitor. He's old. And his like initial like IQ level was fairly low. And it's fascinating to me because you're a numbers guy and you're like, this is kind of how you craft a hit, but this was such an anti story from like a genre perspective. At heart, like what was your thinking about going against the genre expectations here? And do you think it was worth it?
So at the time, like I was really new. I think my very first book in the Resonance Cycle published it late 2022. And for those of you who don't know, it was a Hail Mary pitch. My spouse, my partner, lost their job. I have a child. I was in danger of losing my house. Me publishing was a way to save our life. And in the Resonance book one ended up being a big enough hit that we kept our house. And Father of Constructs was a lot of ego. Was me saying, look, I see a niche in the genre that's not filled. I'm going to create an anti that. I'm going to go as far from that as I can, and then I'm going to make it full of hope and light and joy. But I'm going to invert everything, right? It was definitely not a success. It's never been a success, but by the time I finished the series, I connected so much with it. Like, writing the series was good for my heart. There are scenes in the series that I just cried while writing. There are scenes in the series that are very much connecting me with my biological daughter, that are written for her. The people who have read it to completion are very moved by the series. And when I was releasing it, I had more people coming in telling me that they were touched by the series than I had fans of my main series.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it whatsoever. Would I write it again today? Sort of. So I have a series that I'm going to collaborate with David North on, and we're going to mix Dungeons and Dragons with Father of Constructs, sort of.
Yeah.
So I want to bring that heart back, because part of me misses writing Harvey, because when I write him, I am him, and he's so happy. So like,
you're like, I'm feeling depressed today. I need to write a Harvey chapter.
I wish, right? I tell my people all the time, I wish I could financially afford to write another book in the series, not because I have more story to tell, but because I just want to be him for a day.
Yeah.
Right. Be someone who sees everything in the world as joyful and bright and colorful and happy. Right. So I think more mature, a couple of years later, 50 books later, I think I know how to write it a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Sometimes, I and too, as writers, we get caught up in I think folks get caught up in the grind, and they forget that even books that maybe aren't financially successful are still meaningful in our journeys, right? And yeah.
Well, everything that so what I tell people is that every book that you write that you're proud of can do a couple things, right? It can, the vast majority. Oh, I love Jack's. Jack's a member of our. So Jack came in to. He'll be at LitRPG Con. So Jack he came into a Discord, and he ended up joining as an alpha beta reader. And then we pushed him out of the nest, and he's going to publish under us. He's going to be our very first LitRPG author that we've mentored and gone through our alphas and betas and published for. So we love Jack. Community is super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. don't remember what I was saying, but because Jack distracted me with his huge logo. Well, his logo, we had the JAK. It's the designer. We hired this really great guy off Fiverr, and Jack's look at his JAK. Everyone's like, is his book named Jack? And we're like, no, we have to change the size of the Jack. But it was so cool. It was so in your face.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a good logo. Good branding. Yeah.
It's great. I think that every book that you release goes into a catalog, and either you are writing for money. If you're writing purely for money, a lot of those books are not memorable, right? If you write a carbon copy of He Who Fights with Monsters, if you write a carbon copy of Azranth Healer, people will compare you to Azranth Healer, but they will not talk about you because you stand in that person's shadow. Will you make good money? There's a reason people can copy these books and make good money. So yes, but you won't build a brand. You won't build a personality. You won't be Jack with his big old name. You will be living in the shadow of a hit.
Yeah.
And I think that for the longevity of a career, you look at your R.L. Stine, Stephen King, Joe Abercrombie, Brandon Sanderson, you look at any of the names that have longevity and versatility. You can't always chase the algorithmic pleasure of a dollar. And once you're 20 or 30 books in and you write that hit series, you manage to connect with enough people that it's financially viable to do this, they're going to go back to your book one and they're going to go, oh my God, why has no one ever talked about the book with the vampire slug? Why has no one ever talked about the old man who's hilarious, right?
Yeah. I do think, I mean, it is funny because you do have the space in which there's a lot of similar sorts of books that are hitting because they're giving people that dopamine hit, whatever it is, that's in Azranth Healer, He Who Fights with Monsters, whatever that people are looking for, they're getting that. But also, I do really think it's fascinating to me that you talked about how more people have come up to you about Father of Constructs and had been like, that book personally touched me than maybe your first series. It doesn't surprise me because I think that, people really can see when you put your heart into a book. You can see the joy in an author in their words. And you can see, I think that's one reason why AI is never I'm not super worried about AI replacing me. Maybe the paycheck, but not, AI doesn't have the heart, right? We'll save the AI conversation for later, but
yeah, here's what we're seeing right now, right? So we're a little analytics. Out of the top 100 books on LitRPG and Men's Adventure, over 70% of them are recycled tropes. It's either Academy stories, or it's the Mage Lord story, or it's reincarnated stories. What's happening is people are looking at anime, manga, and they're looking at what's selling, and they're just recreating what's selling over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think that's predictable because no one can recreate Dungeon Crawler Carl, right? It's unrecreatable. You can recreate I'm a level 80 mage born in a child's body infinitely. But again, you might make some money on that, and readers may glom onto that. But are they glomming? It's
not going to be the runaway success. It's not the mega whatever.
It may stick for a while, 100%, because you may execute that exceptionally well. An old idea told exceptionally well is still going to do great, an evergreen idea. But I'm not going to remember your name if you wrote the 17th Mage Lord book, right? Reincarnated as a Mage Lord number 75, right? Or some other glitchy title like How I Practiced One Skill 1,000 Times and Now I'm the Best, whatever, of 100 book ones that I've released that month, right? You're not going to remember me. You might remember that title vaguely, right?
Yeah.
So I think you have to thread the needle.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about Father of Constructs. One of the side characters is Tabitha. And her class is pretty unique. I've only read book one so far, just because the podcast, I generally read book ones, but this series I'm going to come back to. But she is an orphan Can you talk to us a little bit about the Havoc Plague and how it interacted with her and impacted her life? And then I don't know if we want to give away her class completely, but maybe a little bit about her class.
Yeah. So I believe it's been a while, but I believe she's a dropship healer. I think that's what we called her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the lore of the series is that any class that's not common can only be gained once per cycle. So each cycle of the world boss. So when the world boss is reborn, all of the classes go back into the pool. They're randomized. And when you go up to get your class, when you pick it, if it's not common, it's taken out of the pool and only one of them can exist. But there's different rarities of these classes, epic, legendary, whatever. And Tabby, so the vision for her was for her to be a surrogate daughter for Harvey, but also be her own person. I wanted to write a well-rounded young woman who's on her own similar journey.
Thank you for not making her a love interest, by the way.
He's 67 years old.
You know that would not stop some of people in our genre. I'm just saying thank you.
Well, LitRPG, it's so hard to do love interests right and not alienate the core readers who want a pure hack and slash experience and feel that romance gets in the way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you write your harem lit, right?
Yeah.
But so the idea behind her was for her to be a more jaded, younger, not version of Harvey, but someone who could give additional perspective and be like, Harvey, you're crazy. These people all want to murder us. Right. And to show very early on in the series that he is called the father of constructs, but this is a human story with human heart. And everyone he sees deserves love in his eyes. And it's like, and her relationship with Felidin is the best relationship I've ever written. I have one core fan who's like, write more of their story, and I'm like, yeah, no, but
yeah.
Oh, I love
her. Her and Harvey's like parental kid sort of story. It's nice, and it's funny because it also kind of flips. Like today in time, you've got like the older generations are maybe. I don't know, the jadedness of the youth of this moment is really fun to read because she's like, man, what are you doing? But also like can't help but fall for his outlook of life too, right? Like she totally, like she's got a whole different life when they meet and she's just like, nope, I want to be with this dude. He has got it. And yeah.
Well, and she starts out plagued as well, right? So she's plagued and she has a really super tragic backstory, and her unique path to self-revelation and self-empowerment and what she does, it's really fulfilling. It's very fulfilling to write. And again, she's not a hack and slash shoot 'em up bang bang character either. She's got her own gentility. She's got her own path. And in the lore of the world, that class was like, and her class is awesome, but that class was like, in the old, because it's basically steampunk adjacent. Like many cycles ago, people would have these ships. They would come in. They would crash these ships, and these healers would keep everyone alive. They would come out and they would keep these troops alive. So her powers are basically modeled after like Warhammer 40K levels of healing. Right. So she has this really incredible power to keep people alive who would otherwise die. Yeah. But she has to level it up and all the things Harvey does too. Right. So,
yeah. She doesn't come out of the first class level 1 OP. No, it takes a little bit.
There's really only 2 truly OP characters in the core group for a while. Right. So I wanted something a little more grounded because I ended my other series with like godlike power, and I was like, nah,
rule the universe. Yeah,
let's ground it a little bit.
So I want to get into some crafting questions, but I want to give you the chance to either talk about inheritors like Lucas, the automatons like Reacher, or which way do you want to go if you had to pick one, inheritors or automatons?
One of the things I'm really proud of about this series is the world building. That's kind of my experiment with layering world building in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I did it perfectly, but the idea is that when the world boss is gone, magic becomes stale, and the ways to gain classes and gain levels, they stagnate, but they don't go away. There are delves. That was before AI, guys, but there are dungeon dives. There are ways to get experience, and the the magic in the world is very advanced. There's a history of intelligent creatures, intelligent constructs. Magic is a living thing, embodying them. I really wanted to create a world that felt lived in and fully realized. So all this logic is there, and the magic system too, right? So like when you cast spells, you become bent in the direction of the type of spell you cast.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're fire bent, you become reckless, right? So there are all these little tiny pieces that aren't part of the core journey, but like as you read more and more of the series, they fill in the outside. So I tried to make it feel like a really well realized, lived in world.
Yeah.
The inheritors, they come into play because like the parents, the people who killed the world boss, and the immortals who had an immortality power before the world boss were killed are still around. So there's all this ancient history that I try to layer in through Harvey's experience.
Yeah, it's fun because it also like factions up the world. I think you do a really good job of having this long history that doesn't just. It's not like you created this history in this world to have this moment where Harvey kills the boss and then you just like toss it over your shoulder and you're like, let's go. Like the history keeps kind of coming up as you're journeying through this world and seeing how different oasis in the world survived and how they're like using the technology that's left and the pollution that's left in different ways. And you do a good job of bringing it back up. And then Inheritors is one of those because these folks have had powers passed to them from their ancestors in different ways. And it's fun.
Well, in book, I think it's book 3, we explore that a lot, where it's the idea that you create not just a class system, but a caste system where people who have inherited their power and have access to cleaner, like you could recycle magic multiple times, and people who have access to cleaner versions of it are part of this elite. You're level 5 or level 6 or level 7. You've had access to the train system. You've gone around. You've inherited all this power, and you're essentially like not like a godling, more like a superhero, more like a high level D&D character in this really rundown world. And then in walks Harvey, and he's just like waka waka waka. Like let's like one of the big plot points in book 1 is that all the trains run on recycled magic and they just pollute everything. And Harvey comes in, he gets his class, and he's OP in that his class gives him, like I don't label it all, but it gives him access to all these different understandings of how to use magic as fuel for effects in a mechanical way. And he's like, I'm going to rip this entire engine out. I'm going to replace it like this. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, this is not going to work. He's just like, no. And then he upends entire economies by accident.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, we just need a flux modulator right here. Yeah. And your train's 3 times faster and doesn't pollute anything.
Yep. Like what if the status quo was full of really selfish, evil people and this bright light came in and was like, I have a solution for that. Right. Of course they're going to try to kill him, but
of course. Right. Yeah.
But then you surround him by really cool badasses.
Yeah. All right. So let's flip a little bit. We're going to move into some more like crafting sort of questions and get a little bit further away from the book. But we've got a lot of writers in the audience too. So I think this is going to be fun. So first I want to say, when we were talking at the con, you mentioned that you have a lot of plans in the works for like collaborations, websites, new books coming out. Is there anything that you want to highlight? I'm thinking about the website that you've set up for LitRPG audiences to find books and things like that. Do you want to talk a little bit about the empire that is Aaron and Pivot Press? What are your plans to take over the world, Aaron?
So no plans to take over the world. So I 6 months ago, 5 months ago, was realizing that Amazon's not going to filter out AI books. And I saw them coming out and dominating the charts, and there was no way to filter them out, no way to control them. And there was no there's a tremendous amount of fraud and theft going on right now. So I created 2 websites. One is harem-lit.com and one is litrpgtools.com. And I tried to ideate them on them and build the tools and things that I needed to create discoverability, to create search, to put a calendar in one place so everyone can go find the calendar. Everyone's always on Reddit or Facebook being like, what's the new release schedule, right? I worked with Amazon and got an affiliate membership that gives me API access. So API access, nice. For those of you who don't know, it lets me read their backend. I can import books automatically, parts of them. I can get all kinds of raw data, and then I can use the affiliate marketing to track behaviors. And I can use the Patreon API to track behaviors. So what I ended up doing was building a site that allows authors to say, okay, I'm going to publish a blog, I'm going to publish an interview, I'm going to publish a book, I'm going to do these things to interact with my following here. And then I am going to surface analytics to authors that show them how the results of that. And I can show them if they're generating sales to an extent. Yeah. I can see if they're generating clicks or subscriptions to their different sites. So unlike Facebook or an Amazon that doesn't really tell you for sure, like what's driving your sales in a really clear way, I can do that a lot better. So LitRPG Tools is pretty feature rich, but the gamification is not there yet. And that's a big missing piece. I really want to create an RPG game that encompasses, that allows authors to upload art or content and let players collect these cards and use them in an RPG game. The problem is getting buy-in from the right authors or enough authors for that, earning the community trust. And that just has not happened, quite frankly. So the site's there, it's working, it's good, but the growth is not what I wished it would be. So if you guys want to partner up and come in and play, if you have ideas, come on in. On the Harem Lit side, unfortunately, it has taken off like a rocket. I have delivered over $12,000 to Amazon money, not including Patreon subscriptions, in the last like 45 days to the authors on that site. Like not me, them. I'm paying for this out of my pocket. So the goal with both of these is to create like a safe space where we know people are engaging their readers, and not to trust Amazon to give a shit about any of us.
Yeah. Which is needed. And, we've got a couple of people in the chat there saying like, I'm in, how do I get involved? How would somebody contact you if they were interested in partnering?
So both sites, all my sites have links to Discord. I am hyper accessible. And at this point, the tools are there. I would love to meet people who have ideas about gamification that would work for our community. Mm-hmm. I would love to partner with the right authors. This is not a financial, this is a time thing, right? I'm paying for everything out of my pocket. And I have been accused on various forums about using the monetization, the Amazon affiliate link to make money. I'm not making shit, guys. It's 0.004 cents per sale, and it doesn't come out of the author's pockets, but it tells me you got a sale. It lets me tell you that I'm giving you 12 grand, right? But it's, on Harem Lit, it's been so successful because I have a waifu card game. I let the authors upload cards, and people collect those cards. I've had 250,000 cards collected in 2 months.
That's incredible. In 2 months.
2 months. The analytics are incredible. I cannot replicate that on LitRPG Tools. I need help. I would love ideas, right? And I know that I'm a little doom and gloom about it. I'm not going to stop running it. It's just a matter of, here is an example of real success. Guys.
Like this hasn't hit yet. How do we get it to hit? Yeah.
I'm not, it's going to be there. If you use it, use it. If not,
Yeah. And from like an analytics standpoint, one of the things that is really difficult from an author perspective, and if the authors already know it, is it's hard to tell what you're doing that's causing, if what you're doing is leading to sales or not. And like, I mean, that's everything from like ads to podcasts to interviews, like whatever. It is really difficult to try to pinpoint what you're doing that's actually making an impact on sales, because you don't necessarily have the numbers and the analytics to back it up. So it's very cool that you are trying to help and provide that. Not everybody has the ability to code an API and pull data that makes sense from it.
If you want to see some of the stuff, I will show you. Like, it's incredible because you can like get on your individual author dashboard, you can add an event. You can say like, I released, and it will automatically pull some events in for you. If it sees you released a book, it'll add a vertical line and say you released a book here, and then it will show you your clicks. It'll say, okay, here's where your Patreon numbers are if you hooked your Patreon up. Here's where your unique views are. If you do the author interview, here's how many link clicks are coming to your author interview, right? And I can tell you in the aggregate, over 160 Patreon clicks are coming over on the Harem Lit side, right? On the LitRPG side, it's not. But I can tell you an ideal situation with a community that's 1/100th of our size.
Yeah,
what's happening, and it's incredible.
That's wild.
It's incredible.
That's wild. Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, you've got a few people that are in, and yeah, transparency is extremely lacking throughout the space. Yeah, I would agree. And I think a lot of times we as a community get drawn into people's stories about their success or about what they're doing. Like, it's really easy for somebody to spin a story about how they hit Rising Star on Royal Road or how they hit on Amazon. And it's really hard to tell if that's true or not, or what is hitting for them. Is that the same thing as hitting for you or hitting in the genre as a whole? So yeah, having numbers is kind of wild and awesome.
Well,
so
I think that this is a little negative, sorry guys, but I think that this has just been a space where publishers, people who have a lot of money and reach, could have done a lot of good 6 months or a year ago, right? I'm not going to call anybody out, but someone who's central to the space, if they had created an agnostic website that pulled all of this data, maybe litrpg.com could have done this, right? If we had a true altruistic person who would come in and say, I am not trying to profit from any of this. My publishing company's books are not above anybody else's, right? I'm going to create a community space, right? Am I going to monetize in some way so I can pay to have the servers up? Sure, right? But like, I really wish someone had been altruistic enough before me so I didn't have to do it. So I didn't see a gap and go, I'm going to fill that. Yeah. Because it's so about us. It's so about me. It's me in my author head. It's me saying, I hit Rising Stars. I was in the top 10. My rank is 5 times better than yours. My reviews are 5 times better. Who the fuck cares? Yeah. Right? At the end of the day, we have to build something better than us. How can we write books about heroes that save the world and only care about us? Right?
Yeah. I think that you have, I'm not sure that 6 months, 2 years ago, I think a lot of people are kind of got the head in the sand about what's changing, some of the changes that Amazon's making, and just how AI has affected the market and the dynamics of the algorithm and all the rest of it. I think people just are thinking same old, right? And somebody in the chat pointed out that like one of the reasons that we're going to survive all of this is if we band together. And so thank you for taking a step in that direction and making it open and sharing the knowledge with everybody.
Well, to your point, depending on how you want to calculate it, and depending on how much you want to finger point, probably between 50 to 80% of the top 100 in men's adventure are either AI assisted heavily or full AI now. In LitRPG, it's probably close to 50% of the top 100. Yeah. The top 20 in men's adventure making tens of thousands of dollars. 8 out of 20 or 18 out of 20 have a number of reviews on multiple books in their series all saying they have massive continuity issues. They aren't edited. They aren't put together well. I'm not going to say they're AI because witch hunting is bullshit. But
And there's a lot of that going on right now too.
if books of such low quality are owning the charts and taking money and page reads from real authors or authors who care about their craft, we have to change things. And I've said this on Reddit, I'll say this on Discord, I'll say this to anybody's face, right? I don't want to have to call anyone out. I don't want to talk to the community like I'm a visionary of, oh, there's a doom coming. But the reality is there's only so many page reads and sales out there. And if people can push a button, programmatically copy, I was a mage 10,000 years ago, I'm a mage again now, and take the money from real authors, if we don't make a change, we're not going to have a business. Yeah. Right. And then when Amazon changes the way audio pays out so that suddenly virtual voice is the way to go, then all the narrators are out of business. So you've got no authors, you've got no narrators. All of our books are AI covers. You've got no artists. The entire community collapses.
Yeah. It's ironic in a world where really I want AI to do my dishes for me. Right. And here we are, right? Yeah, I mean, this is a real pivot point for, honestly, the world as a whole, right? Is how are we going to use this extremely capable technology, and what is the world that we want in the future? Do we want a world that doesn't have artists in it? We can have that world, right? I think capitalism wants us to have that world, right? But is that really the humanity that we want to live in, right?
I think AI is an extraordinary tool. And I try to look at it very pragmatically. If you want to use ChatGPT to help edit a chapter, if you want to help it remove word echoes, if you want to use it as a souped up Grammarly, if you are having a hard time figuring out what a Victorian era bustle should be and you don't want to Google it, absolutely, yes. Please. Yeah. Like there are so many areas. I don't want to generate a town today. I don't want to generate all these NPCs names. There were NPC name generators years ago, right? All of that's fine. It's when this technology is used to replace human labor entirely or to unfairly advantage one person or a group to the point that it displaces all other work in the field or multiple pieces of other work in the field. Yeah. Right. I have authors come to me all the time and say, I could not have afforded my cover anyway. Valid. And then once you're a successful author and you can find an artist,
go get a cover.
Please pay them. Like, yeah. I'm not you. I'm not your dad. I'm not gonna be father of constructs and beat you over the head for not doing something that I feel is ethical, because ethics are a personal standpoint. But when I became successful enough, and Jackson the Giants will tell you, right? We did mock-ups of his covers, and the mock-ups were incredible. And I was like, cool, now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to hire you an artist. Here are your options, right? We're going to spend the money because we don't want to be replaced.
Yeah. All right, let's take a left turn. You've had a pretty varied and unique background, and I know this from our late night Jordan Con talk. Can you talk to me a little bit about how your previous professions have influenced your writing? And I mean, you can talk about also your business approach with like the website and the rest of it. Do you have an IT background? I actually don't remember if you do or not, but like what has led you to be the Aaron that you see today?
I think the most influential thing was I read as a kid. I read constantly, and I was the ever DM, right? But I was the DM who wants to fix things and tweak things, right? So I'd read a player's handbook or a DMG, and I'd be like, well, what if we did all these other things? And then I didn't want to just do them. I wanted to like go into old like Windows 95 version of Word and like make published versions of those. Like I was a world builder, right? I was a world builder forever. I have a background in surprise, IT with analytics, with security. I have worked in lots of really fun places, doing lots of technical writing and managing people. I used to manage an international team. I ran a thing called a knock. I used to do all kinds of security audits.
And you're on the operational support side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
That means a lot of late night phone calls with emergencies, you guys. That's what that means.
right? Just late shifts. Ultimately, what got me to where I am now is real. I have an English degree as well, and I was always very scared because I wasn't confident in the quality of my prose. And then I started reading LitRPG, and I was like, fans don't care about prose; they care about a good story.
That's also what made me want to write LitRPG. I was like, okay, I don't have to be, Shakespeare.
No. I mean, I was rereading for this interview my own prelude to Father of Constructs, and I was like, oh no. I repeated the word air 5 times in two paragraphs. Modern Aaron would not do that. In fact, I went and rewrote that entire prelude and re-uploaded it like a day and a half ago because I was annoyed at myself. But then because the prelude came after I wrote the entire book because people were like, I don't understand what's happening. Okay, fine. And then I read further and I was like, okay, this gets better. Thank God. Thank God. But like, none of my fans have ever been like, Aaron, that prelude is so rough, right? I had to get through your prelude, right? So I think the fans being forgiving and knowing the fans would be forgiving was the biggest thing because I could stop overthinking every single paragraph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one thing I love about the genre is that, it's funny because on one hand, we talk about how you can have something of very low quality be in the top 20, and that can be kind of frustrating because it's not even edited. But then at the same time, you can have something that is not super high quality that can be in the top 20, and that's also kind of inspiring, right? It sets the bar of like, I can do this at something that seems reachable for prospective authors, which
so this is murky. So I have been looking at the reviews of these books that we presume have been heavily written by AI. And at first, the reviews were very positive for many of them. And over time, over the last 45 days, I have seen them get increasingly negative, right? More and more 1 stars, more and more, this is slop, more and more, and angrier. And I think what is happening is these quote unquote authors have written the tropes very well. They know the audience's tolerance is very high. Thank you, audience, for being very high tolerance, especially when I write air 5 times in 2 paragraphs. I'm so sorry. They're testing the waters to see what the real floor of acceptance is, right? Now, I think we're going to see, I don't know what's going to happen, but if I had an 8-ball, I would say there's going to be a splinter in the audience. There's going to be a group of people who are willing to tolerate slop because it's fun. It's probably not going to get much better. I've been looking into the argue. I don't think that the AI writing is going to get much better than it is now because of continuity issues. Because of the nature of AI right now is focused on enhancing code, not writing. Ball of wax there. But there's going to be a section of our audience who doesn't care. And they're going to leave 5-star reviews for anything they read because the audience has been trained to leave good reviews for us.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be an increasing minority who are only going to read authors they know and trust or publishers they know and trust. So trust, getting in front of people, is going to become the only way to grow an audience. That's not someone who will just pick up anything that's called I was reborn as a mage 1,000 years ago. Right?
Yeah, it's the trust in the community, right? So things like LitRPG Con become even like so much more important because you've got that person in front of you that you can talk to and can talk about their books. And maybe this is me being, plugging my own shtick here, right? But podcasts and getting authors in front of people and having you be able to like see Aaron's face and be like, you're not a computer construct, right? And
Right.
see those opinions in that community and building that community in this way. Like this is also another vehicle for that community and trust building with folks in general. So
100%. I was talking with Geneva at Legion a couple months ago about this, and she was like, come out, right? come out as both your pen name and yourself, get in front of camera, get on panels,
Mhm.
right? And I recommend this to all of our audience who are authors, right? Get out there, form meaningful connections, do the exact opposite of everything that's our instinct to do. Hide behind a Discord screen or hide behind our word thing and type.
Mhm.
Like, because the strengths that make AI writing and competitive, that genre so powerful, are the very shield that we have to leave behind to grow real community now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You come onto podcasts that like, these podcasts are invaluable. Everyone needs to do them. Get on Reck, right? Well,
Yeah.
get on Reck's podcast. Get, you know, do the pop thing.
Do the podcast.
Do
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah, go and hop on Dennis and Richie's space or Joel, whoever, right? Like, get your face out there and talk and have opinions and
I love Dennis and Richie. Hey guys,
be failable. You can write error 3 times in a paragraph and it's okay. You can go on a podcast and stumble over your words once and that's okay, right? But yeah, be out there, be present. Yeah, which is admittedly very hard for most of our introverted authors that sit at a computer all day. It is tough, but
well, most of us are on at least one spectrum, or you're like me, you're on like 4, and it's
Mhm.
like this is the least instinctual thing to do, but those same spectrums tell me there's 2 outcomes here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
get out there and meet people in the flesh space and gotcha them.
Right. Okay, couple business items, and we'll get to the end of the podcast. First, I'm going to be live on TikTok tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern with Geneva, talking about LitRPG Con. Bring your questions. We've got some questions and spoilers that we're going to throw out there, but join us. Last Wednesday we did it and had a slew of questions. You got to know when your panels were coming out and all the rest of it. So bring any questions you've got for Geneva tomorrow, TikTok, 8 p.m. Eastern. Second thing is that the indie author booth, if you're not following me on TikTok and it's Rockwell Author, please do. I'm going to be announcing all of the books at the indie author booth at LitRPG Con probably tomorrow. I think I'm going to post that TikTok. So follow. We've had a late author pickup that you guys are going to love. So be ready for that post tomorrow. I think that's it for me. Oh yeah, no, Stumbling Up 2 comes out June 19th. You can pre-order digitally now. I'm going to have physical and digital release on the 19th. I'm bringing a bunch of copies to LitRPG Con, but also there's going to be the audios coming out the same week. The audio gods don't always approve it right away, so I don't exactly know the timing, but yeah, you're going to have Stumbling Up 2 out here in it's like 10 days. I can't believe we're that close to having the second book out. So I'm excited to get that in everybody's hands. Yeah. Aaron, what does your schedule look like for the rest of the year? I know you're going to be at LitRPG Con. What else? What does this look like for you?
So I've got Apocalypse Breaker 5 due out in October. I've got a whole bunch of men's romance stuff that I'm either working on or coaching people through. I'm also going to be working on a collaboration with Mr. David North. It's going to be my next B1, my next kickoff. It's going to be massive. He wants it to be 250,000 words for a B1, so we've had to delay it a little bit. It's a chunk. It's going to be probably the biggest book I've written by about 12,000 words. Wow. So that will be out this year. We've got art for all these that are just amazing. So probably 2 more books from me on the Lit RPG side. Probably like 20 more books for me adjacently on the other side. But I've got co-authors for all of that, so I get to be like, I wrote 3 chapters. It's my book.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Are you doing any other cons? Are you going to Dragon Con or anything else in the fall?
Dragon Con's right down the road for me, but no, because I did I just don't know. I don't like people like in crowds and like big crowds.
Dragon Con is like the biggest crowd too. Yeah.
And it's like at Jordan Con, I was a dinghy in a pond, right? A little dinghy in a pond. At LitRPG Con, I'll be a dinghy in a lake. At Jordan Con, you're a thimble in a fucking ocean.
Yeah. And there's megalodons there that too will,
There's like if there was a really big curated lit RPG track still, if you did lit RPG Under the Sea or whatever, absolutely, I
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah.
But I think Dragon Con I'm gonna avoid like the plague. How about yourself? Are you going?
I am going. It's a late ad for me. I got some folks, some friends are like, we have an extra Airbnb room, and I was like, okay, I can't. Like, all right, I will go, but yeah, yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting because the lit RPG presence is just not going to be what it has been in years past. So
Right.
yeah, we'll see. If somebody wanted to reach out to you or follow you or find out when your next book's coming out, what's the best place? Patreon, Facebook, website?
I have a website called litrpgtools.com. I have a website called harem-lit.com. I have my Patreon, or I have my Patreon linked on everything. I have my Discord linked on everything. All of my public-facing websites are absolutely freaking free. You can get on there, use them, see the calendars, create tier lists, comment on people, interact with your favorite authors, interact with me. My Discord is super open. We try to keep it very focused on the brand, but authors can come in and talk about the websites. We have a dedicated area for that too. I am super scarily reachable. If you just like scratch the dirt, you'll find me peeking
Just to
back at
reach
you,
out and
being
tap you
like,
on the shoulder.
just like, come on and talk to me. Just don't be creepy in my DMs. I've had a couple people do that lately. That's a sign of success, though, right?
Yeah, people being creepy in DMs. Unfortunately, yeah. All right, last question for you. If you were going to recommend somebody's book, so we have this tradition of if you wanted to put one book on Pop Pop's TBR, what would it be? Like, what is the book that you want to put on somebody else's TBR?
I don't think Pop Pop's read a single one of my books.
The punk, I know, but Pop Pop, this is like the mythical, like any reader. What is a book that you really enjoyed in the last year that you want other people to read?
Oh, hold on. Let me turn around because my shelves are just full of them. Do I want to make him cry? I kind of want to make him cry. Yes, I'm a sadist. Thank you very much.
Jack says, "Don't you dare say mine."
I would probably make him read a classic. Sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry, but I would probably make him read Heroes Die by Matthew Woodring Stover. And it's not lit RPG, but it's lit RPG adjacent, and it'd be a very hard read for him. And I would drink his tears, and I would smile the entire time.
My plan, and we'll see if it happens or not, is I want to do like a a poster of all of the books that my interviewees have recommended, so you can like check them off, and we'll put under this one, send tears to Aaron.
I mean, it would be so easy to recommend any of the big lit RPG hits, or any, but like, I want to go with something a little more fundamental, a little more off the beaten path, right? Like a little more. I don't think you honestly have read enough, Pop Pop. Let's diversify you a little bit.
Yeah, sounds good. Love it. I love it. I love the off the beaten path Rex. So, all right, folks. Thank you for joining tonight. Next week, so tomorrow night is Geneva and I on TikTok. Next Tuesday on the Reck and Pop Pop show, we're going to be interviewing Waldo Rodriguez, talking about Reclaimer, Crucible. Gotta say that right. Also, somebody I met at Jordan Con. I'm reading the book right now. It's great. He wrecks Florida in like the first chapter, which I'm a fan of that. So join us on the Reck and Pop Pop show. You can catch it on my YouTube channel or Pop Pop's. And yeah, we'll see you then. And Aaron, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you being
Of course, it was super fun.
Yeah. All right, folks. Have a good night, and we'll see you probably tomorrow on TikTok.